Hey folks, it's Alex Wiseman. We're back again. We are in the second half of my final thoughts for Day 5. We're talking about your objectives, and we were talking about what makes an objective a SMART objective. And I was giving you a little bit of the lowdown about what I thought your objectives should look like. What I didn't give you was an example. So here's an example of what a SMART objective might look like. By the end of year one, provide 125 mothers in disadvantaged communities in the Cape Winelands district of the Western Cape, South Africa, with a 2-hour training program that provides health and nutrition information. Now, let's talk about why this is SMART. It's not SMART because I'm intelligent. It's SMART because it is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So the specific part, it's specifically saying what is going to be done. There is a 2-hour training program that provides health and nutrition information that is going to be provided to 125 mothers in our target population area. All right? So that is very clear. You don't have to be someone who is familiar with health and nutrition programs or even with this region of the world in order to understand what's going to be done. All right. Measurable. So it's got some key components. One is what is being delivered is specifically named. It's a 2-hour training program, and it has content related to health and nutrition information. It's also measurable because we can count how many mothers are going to be part of the dissemination, right? 125. If we only get to 124, we have not met our objective, right? That's pretty easy to get at, all right? Achievable and realistic. So to be achievable and realistic, we need to have infrastructure and capacity. So do we have the infrastructure? And let's just say I'm representing Lehigh University in this case, because I was representing a Lehigh team when we made this objective. Do we have the infrastructure and the capacity to do this, to provide 125 mothers in disadvantaged communities in that part of South Africa with a training program? We absolutely do, and it's because we have the resources, we had a local partner, we have expertise that will allow us to provide this kind of training. We have all that infrastructure and capacity that is necessary. And I would have talked about that in my write-up around this objective. Okay? Achievable, realistic. So it's achievable because we have infrastructure and capacity. Is it realistic? Can we actually do this? Or is this something that is just sort of a dream? Actually, this is very real. It wouldn't take much to do this, to be real honest, even though it's kind of a big deal. At least it was a big deal for us when we were establishing this program. So the hardest part is getting 125 mothers. The easy part is putting together a 2-hour training program with health and nutrition information and then having someone in that location to deliver it. That's the easy part. Hard part's getting 125 mothers to come. And for that, we had to work very closely with our partners on the ground in South Africa, in Paarl, South Africa in particular. Even though we never were able to actually implement this because the funding never came through, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we could have done it. Okay. Smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. By the end of year one. Ta-da! It was a multi-year program that we were proposing. We had a target that by the end of the year we would reach 125 mothers. It was good for us because it meant that we wouldn't have to reach all 125 in one shot. We had 12 months. We had 365 days to get 125 mothers to go through this program. So this is a SMART objective. It has all of those SMART characteristics. So let me give you a little more objective advice. Get it? Double play on the word there. Okay. One is I'd like for you to tie your goals and objectives directly to your needs statement, directly to what you say the need is for your innovation. Remember, they have to be linked. They have to be tied together. Next, include all relevant groups and individuals in your target population. Be very clear about who your innovation is meant to serve or benefit. And I'll just be honest, this is not objective advice here. This is innovation advice. This is program advice. Make sure that your target population is part of the decision making for your innovation. Make sure you put that in as part of your plan. It will really help later when you're trying to make this sustainable. You have to have a champion or a group of champions, and I mean that in the sense that there are people who are willing to really push the idea, who are willing to stand up for it, who are willing to be leaders in the community that you're serving. This has to be an inside-out thing, whatever it is that you're doing. It cannot be something that is imposed from outside. Otherwise, it will always be short-term, and quite frankly, when the money runs out, it will always fail. So what you have to do is make sure that you're including all relevant groups and individuals in your target population, but also in the development of the innovation. That might not be in your strategic plan. Like you might not have somebody from your target population who's helping you write your draft plan for this class. But as part of your plan, you should be thinking about how you're involving those relevant groups and individuals in the actual development of your innovation. Please always allow plenty of time to accomplish the objectives. One thing that a lot of people do, myself included, is we tend to overestimate our ability to do certain things within a short time frame. Pad your time frame a little bit. Make it so that you give yourself maybe twice as much time as what you thought you needed when you originally drafted this. You will thank me for this later. Okay, don't confuse your outcome objectives with your methods. So this is back to it has to be an outcome or a result, not a process. So make sure that the process is separate. The way that you achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve is not the outcome. The innovation and the development of that innovation or the implementation of that innovation is not the outcome. The outcome is what that innovation does. It's the result. It's the effect. Okay. Figure out how to measure the change resulting from each objective. So is it a change, for example, the objective that I gave you just a minute ago, the change resulting from the objective was pretty basic. 125 mothers sat through a 2-hour training program, right? That's the change. They were there and they received it. All I have to know is that they received it. Right? So they were there throughout the program. I didn't put in that objective that they did anything as a result of participating in the training program. Quite frankly, that would have been a better objective and more meaningful, but I was being realistic. And always budget for the evaluation or measurement of your objectives. Think about that when you're putting together the financials for your program. You are doing that as part of your strategic plan. You're trying to think about what the financial resources will be, which means you need to know what you think it's going to cost to actually do this. So make sure that you have some sort of line item in your budget, or you're thinking about what it would cost to actually know that you have accomplished what you thought you were going to accomplish. Okay, so those are a lot of kind of general suggestions, advice, whatever you want to call it, related to SMART goals and objectives. Congratulations again on making it through day 5. I'm very excited about what you're doing. Every day I love looking at and reading what you are sending me, your written parts, and to see how that's developing. So it's inspirational from my end. I hope that it's also working like that on your end. All right. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email.